All right, so we're going to draw this problem here, this figure J-25, and it doesn't look like a terribly difficult project. It's got a base to it. It's got this rounded figure that sits on top of the base that's got a hole cut through it, or a slot that cuts through it. It's got a centered spline on the back edge. It's got a centered spline on the front edge, and that spline has like a, I don't know, like a T on top of it. So the sides are cut in a little bit. So let's go over the size of this thing. So it's the length of it is 5.5 plus 2 3/8. So that would be 5.5 plus 2.375. So the total length would be 7.875. The height of this end from here down to the bottom is 1 1/4. The thickness of the base, 5/8. These rounded edges here are 3/8 of an inch. The thickness of the back spline is 3/8. It looks like the smaller part of this spline is 3/8 from here to here. And then the width of this top section is 1/2 inch by 1/4 of an inch thick. Looks like there's a 1/2 inch diameter or a 1/4 inch radius cut out here. There are 4 inches from the end here to the end of this horizontal. From the corner here to the top corner here, the vertical height is 1 5/8. Having trouble with this measurement right here. The arrows indicate that it wants a width dimension, but I already know that the thickness of this is 3/8. And this shows a vertical extension line. I don't see how this can be a correct measurement. I don't see anything that indicates that this is a correct measurement because it's coming from a vertical to a vertical, but it's got a horizontal dimension line. So at this point, unless something else comes up, I'm going to disregard this 9/16 measurement because I don't see what it is. It's not giving me any new information. Okay, so the slot looks like the outer edge is a 2-inch diameter or a 1-inch radius. Looks like the inner slot is a 1-inch diameter. 1.5 inches between centers. 3/4 of an inch from the base up to the center, 1 inch down to the center. So the total height of this would be 1 plus 1.5. So that would be 2.5 plus 3/4. So the total edge from top edge to the top of this face would be 3.25. Okay, so there's our information. Let's take that and let's go to SolidWorks and we will start drawing this in SolidWorks. All right, so let's create a new part. And I'm going to draw the base first. So I'm just going to go to the top plane, normal to extrude with a rectangle. And the width of this rectangle is 2 inches. The length, when we calculated that out, we said was 7.875. And the thickness of this is 5/8. Okay. It also says that the roundovers, the corners are all 3/8 radius. So let's just do that right now. So 3/8 I'm gonna go this corner, this corner, this corner. Mark. Okay, good. Let's put, well, we're gonna have to create a new plane, a center plane right through the middle of this thing so that we can draw this center piece in the middle. So I'm gonna go reference plane, and I want it to be right in the middle. So I'm gonna say I want a midpoint between this and this. And notice it gives me a midplane. So that's what I want, check mark. And I'm gonna single click on this and go single click on this and go normal too. And I'm just gonna spread, I'm gonna grab the edges of this plane and just kind of spread it out a little bit so that it doesn't interfere with my drawing, just so that I know it's a plane. Sometimes it gets too small. To me, visually, it messes me up. Okay, so this is right in the middle of my base. So now I'm going to draw just basically a rectangle for this piece in the middle. So I'm going to go extrude with a rectangle, and I'm just going to make sure I'm touching the top edge of this and just draw a big rectangle. When I dimension it, I know that the round over is a 2-inch diameter or a 1-inch radius. So this is going to be 2. I know that the height, I think I said that the height was 3 1/4. And it does say that from the back edge to this edge has got to be 2 3/8. So that's 2.375. So from here to here, 2.375. Good. And I think that's all we need. Yeah, it's fully defined, so exit. And we want this to be centered on the mid plane. So I'm going to change from a blind. I'm going to say I want it to be a mid plane. So it's going both directions from the center. And the total thickness of this thing is 1.5. Enter, and it splits it through the center. And good. Now let's take and click on this face, normal too. And well, we could round over the corners. I'm just going to use a fillet to do it just because it's easy. It is a 1-inch radius. Let me just go fillet. Change this to 1. And I'm going to go on this edge here. Hold on. Clicked on too many things at once. Here, check mark. Okay, so now I'm going to click back on this face and go normal 2. And we'll cut a slot in here. So let's do extrude cut with a slot, just a regular old slot. I'm going to start my 2 centers. So I'm going to just hold out on the edge of the circle here until I get the center point. There's the center point. I'm just going to click and drag down into here somewhere. Just make sure you're vertical. All right. Notice I am on my center point. That's good. So just give it any size, and then let's dimension it to the right size. So this is a 0.5 radius. And the distance from center point to center point should be 1.5. Ooh, that was pretty close. Okay, again, it's fully defined, so we're good. Check mark, exit. And we want that cut to go through all. Good. All right, so doing all right. I'm going to go back to this center plane. and go normal to that center plane. Because I want this back spline, it's going to go from this corner up tangent to this edge and then back down to here. So I'm going to go extrude boss. And remember that I chose this plane as where I'm drawing this. So I'm drawing it right in the middle of my piece here. So I'm going to go with a line from this corner up to, and I'm just going to put it on the edge here until I can find a tangent. Notice it gave me a point there. I'm going to come down. I'm going to draw my line down, back up, down. And I want it to go right to this point there. Notice how it gave me a curved line down to here, over to here. So I created an entire enclosed area. And notice this says it's tangent. All right, it's tangent there. So yeah, so we're good there. So let me check mark my line. Exit out of the sketch. And again, we want to go from the midplane. And the thickness of this is 3/8. You can either type in the fraction or the decimal equivalent. And check mark. Good. That's pretty easy, not terrible. This next one, the one that we do here, has got a lot more dimensions that we've got to follow. And so this one will be a little bit tougher. So, but we are going to go back to that midplane. So I'm going to follow, where's that plane? Right here. I'm going to go normal 2. And we're going to do a pretty detailed sketch here. So let me get a, we're going to extrude a boss. And I'm going to start with, let's see. I'm going to start with a center line. And I want that center line just to go up like this, hit escape. And that's going to be, there's a curve between here and here, and then this piece comes up to here. So now I'm going to get a regular line. I'm going to go, let's see, I'm going to go from here. I know I've got to go straight up. And then I've got to go up to this line, somewhere on this line. I don't know where yet, but somewhere on this line I got to go to. I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to go back to my line. I'm going to come from here over to here. I'm escape. Again, I'm trying to create an entire enclosure, but I don't know where this little curve is yet. So I'm going to stop right here. And I'm going to say that I know that the distance from this edge to this line, that's got to be 0.5. Okay. And I know that the distance from, let's see, from this point here down to the bottom here, I know that that's got to be 1.25. And I know vertically, let's see, that the distance from this corner up to this point, I know that this measurement has got to be 1 5/8. So that's 1.625. Well, that's pretty close on that. 1.625. Okay. And then, so what happens is from here, if you remember, there's a 1/4 inch lip on this thing. There's a 1/4 inch lip, and then the arc starts, but it's not a 1/4 inch from here straight down. It's a parallel line, 1/4 of an inch. So let's see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line from here. It's kind of down like this. And I'm going to hit escape. And I'm going to click on this line. I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to hold the control key down. And I'm going to click on this line. And I want them to be perpendicular. And it moved this line so that they're perpendicular. Check mark. And then I want the length of this line to be 0.25. Whoops. I'm going to go. Okay, good. I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to click on this, grab this, and I'm going to draw a line down like this. Escape. I'm going to click on this line, hold the control key down, click on this line. It accidentally gave me the point, the midpoint, so I'm going to hit escape, and I'm going to do that again. Select this line, hold the control key down, select this line. Okay, so it gives me 2 lines. I'm going to say I want them to be equal. Okay, so it made them the same length. I'm also going to say, I don't know if I have to do this. I think equal will take care of parallel and length, but I'm also going to say parallel. Okay, so they're equal and parallel. Check mark. Good. Now I'm going to connect them. But I don't really need this corner up here. I need it to go from here to here. So now I'm going to draw another line from this corner straight down to past, like that. And I'm going to trim this line. That's okay. I want to get rid of this, and I want to get rid of that. Okay, so we're good there. I need to actually click on this line, and I actually need to bring this I thought I could extend this. Click on this line. Can I grab this and pull it? Let me see. How can I extend this? Because I need this to go all the way to here. I wonder if I can use the extend command. In the trim, I want to go extend. Oh, yeah, that did work. Escape. Good. And I can click on this line. Delete that line. Okay, we're making progress here. Now I need a half circle from here over to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a reference line from here straight across to here. Escape. And I'm going to draw a circle from the midpoint of this line over to the edge of that. Good. And I'm going to trim the top edge of this. Okay. Done with trim. And the last line I need to put in is from here down to this corner. Check mark. Okay, now I think I have connected all my corners. So I have a line that goes here, a line that comes down, a line that goes over, a line that goes up. This line goes over. So this area right here and this area. Okay, so this whole area here, I want to extrude at 3/8. So I'm going to exit, and I want this section, turn sideways here. I want to go from midpoint, or midplane, sorry. And I want it to be 3/8. And then I'm going to go. I don't know if I can do this later or not. I'm going to try to do this later at a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to leave it for right now. Okay, let me try this. Check mark. That's what I want. But I'm also going to go extrude boss. Oops. I wonder if I can use the same sketch. Do extrude boss. This part from the mid plane at a 1/2 inch. Yeah. Yeah, that worked. Good. Now we have some fillets we have to put in. It doesn't tell us what the edge of this fillet is down here, but I believe it's a 1/16, and that's going to cover this one and the back side as well, and the underside of this. So I'm going to go fillet. The distance is 1/16. I'm going to go this edge and this edge. Spin it around and do this edge and this edge. And I have to get up close and personal here, and I want to do this underside edge here and this underside edge here. Good, check mark. And I would like to, this corner, these 4 corners need filleting also. It doesn't tell us what they are, but I would guess they're about a 1/4 inch. That was one thing they forgot to tell us, was the fillet here. So I'm going to say it's a 1/4 inch. So fillet 0.25, and we want this edge. I don't want this edge. So I'm going to, I don't want the tangent propagation. And I want this edge, this back edge, oh, and this. Okay, we got it. See that 9/16 measurement that I was talking about? That there was nothing to that. It didn't have anything for us. So not quite sure why they gave it to us. So now we're going to take this, put it on a drawing. Let's go save as here before we go any farther. Save as. This is going to be part J-25. And I'm going to do a new drawing. And we're going to use an A4 landscape as we normally do, A4 landscape. Okay. Here's our part J25. I'm going to start with the front view, up to the top view, side view, and isometric view. Check mark, and let's move these around a little bit. I definitely don't want all the hidden lines in this view. In fact, I'm just going to click on this view and I'm going to turn this one solid. Do we want it with lines? I'll do it solid without lines. That looks all right. And I want these three views to have hidden lines, and I want them to have center lines also. So I'm going to select this front view here and say make sure that hidden lines are visible. You can already see the hidden lines visible on the rest of them, so that's good. I also want to click on center marks. And I'm going to auto insert them for holes and for slots. I don't like that though. I want it like here and here. Yeah, I want the centers of the circles, not the center of the slot. Okay, so it gives me my center lines. Anything else? Okay, that looks good. So it gives us our center lines there. I also want to go, or for center marks, I also want to go center lines and select view. We'll select this view, and this view if there are any, and check mark. And it put in our center lines. Some of those center lines are in line with other pieces, but that's all right. And I believe that is our finished product. Now let's fill out our title block. So I'm just going to right mouse click and go edit sheet format. I am going to just double click in here and using all capital letters. Put in my name. We already have our part listed in here as part J-25. And that looks good. So I'm going to right mouse click and go edit sheet. That takes me back to my drawing. Notice the title block stays filled in. And this is what we are going to submit. I'm going to change this into a PDF. So first of all, let me save it. Let me save as. So instead of part, I'm going to call this drawing J-25. Save. I'm also going to do a save as and save it as a PDF. Just to make sure I did it correctly, I'm going to check mark that. And let's see if I did it correctly in the PDF. Hey, what do you know? I did it correctly. Okay, and then submitting that PDF is what you'll do. And that is all you got for this assignment. Okay,